Warning, everything in this video and on this channel is for educational purposes only. All content is intended for viewers 21 years of age or older. All acts are performed by professionals, and all people shown are 21 years of age or older. All acts are performed under the legal Chapter 67(8)(d) here in Nevada. Please do not attempt to recreate or reenact anything you see on this channel.
Welcome to From the Stash Podcast. On this episode, we have a great guest, Medically Fit, and we're going to be going over everything from the drop of the medical market all the way over to how the mushroom market may be changing things for everybody. But first, we got a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Thank you, AC Infinity, for sponsoring today's video. If you're looking for new pots, consider checking out AC Infinity's Fabric Smart Pots. Their heavy-duty material is crafted with double-stitched nylon handles and 500-gram thick non-woven fabric that makes a permeable, tear-proof wall for excess water draining and maximum stability. If you want to check out their pots, go to acinfinity.com, use promo code THESTASH15, and consider saving a few dollars and getting yourself some quality pots.
From the Stash Podcast.
From the Stash Podcast, we are back and we got a special guest, Medically Fit. Welcome, brother.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for coming in, man. This has been long overdue, my friend.
For you and I, for sure, Pigeons. We've known each other probably longer than I've known Mr. Grow It Chris here. Because I followed you for a long time, man. And one of my favorite deals about you is when you were fishing and you dropped your phone in the hole. And it was still recording as it's going down.
Classic. That's a throwback.
Yes, that's how long I've been following him.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That's great. I like that. We start right off the bat. No, dude, your name has been around in my community for a very long time, and to see you doing your own thing, just living it up, man, and running into you at
Dude Grows
Cup. Dude, that was so epic. Cool. You had your own booth, dude.
Yeah,
man,
dude.
There's so much to dive into. Real quick, who are you? What are you doing, and how'd you get here?
So, Medically Fit. Ian Brees, my real name. Been in the cannabis industry since mid 2000s, 2010, 11-ish when I moved to Las Vegas. Started getting into it then. And then just kind of evolved over the years and building what I used to have a YouTube channel until I can't get it back no more. But a lot of education on soil biology, plant physiology, talking about soil amendments on Mr. Growit's channel, how to kind of mix them up and use them and the benefits of each one. And now the industry is kind of changing where I'm still home growing, just personal consumption, but the mushroom industry is really big in Colorado right now. And so I'm working with my buddy Tanasi, Sacred 3 Mushrooms, helping him out with a lot of stuff, running the booth during events like this. And then I do a lot of test grows for him because my environment's way different than his environment. And he's an hour and a half, 2 hours north of me. And so the conditions are what we're looking for I'm in the desert. He's got more relative humidity in his area. And so do I have to spray more and do more in my containers for growing? Or how is it? So we do a lot of results and talk about hey, what are we finding? What can we do? What can we change and see? So a lot of different stuff's changing in my reality.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, I know you've been in kind of the mushroom space for a while. You're really regarded as an expert at this point. You're one of the folks that are pushing the boundaries, and you've got a ton of knowledge when it comes to research, the latest science, and you not only keep that information yourself, but you're also communicating it to your audience as well, which is really, really cool, man. And yeah, I was a subscriber to your channel, man. You had tens of thousands of followers, man, wiped overnight. Sorry to hear that, man. I hope someday you're able to either get that channel back or start a new one or something, because I had so much value out of that. And but yeah, I understand you're moving on to bigger and better things, man. So I'm happy for you.
Well, and that's where I've looked at other platforms, Twitter, X, for example. There's a growing weed community on there. It's not like Instagram. It's not like YouTube. The more and more of us that know each other, that are following each other over there, kind of helps build the community we're used to. And then there's people on there that's been there way before, like I've on there, that they're a part of their own community. And I'm trying to be a part of that to get to know these people that I don't know who they are. I haven't followed them and I don't know like their education. So I try to like want to get to know more people in this community. Then you still have Instagram, but my channel, my Instagram page has been suspended and taken down and then given back. And, oh, it's about this or it's about that. And when they really look in it, they give it back because there are certain people out there in the community that hate on other people for doing positive things. And like we're trying to educate people on mushroom cultivation and the science behind it. And some people don't want that out there. And so it's kind of hard. And it like losing my YouTube channel was a big one because we were just starting to get a lot of mushroom information on there. And
well, I think that's a big thing too, is the self-sufficient information is not only is it a threat to the big guy, but it's also to the cash cropper or the person who's doing their thing. And now you're teaching everybody to go do it themselves. Each one teach one. That was my old school plug told me that when I started this whole journey. And he was like, man, you just don't want to make any money, do you, brother? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you're going to teach everybody to grow. No one's going to buy from us. I was like, it's my goal, man. Honestly, not to not having buy from us, but I think everybody should be able to do this. I think, whether it be with the plant or with the spores, there should be an option to have this availability for medicinal purposes, recreational, whatever. But it's a damn plant. It's a natural thing.
Well, as Subcool used to say, overgrow the planet. Like that's the whole intention of teaching people to grow for themselves. So you can overgrow the system and not have to depend on somebody growing it for you. Because there's a lot of problems with dispensaries. We've seen pest problems that they still sell the flower and not toss it or do something else with it. Mold problems and still trying to sell it. And it's like, well, we need testing and regulation if that's going to happen. And it's just this industry is kind of sideways right now with what's really happening. When recreational took over, it really, to me, started going downhill, especially for the medical industry.
Heavily, dude. When you look at, in Michigan, it's dropped to the point where there's people going around saying, hey, we'll cover the cost of renewal just so you stay in the program, just so you're in it. They went from 1 year renewals to 2 year renewals for a quarter of the price. They went from, a lot of places, though, here's the downside is I can grow 12 plants with or without my card. I don't need it. I can possess more flower without my medical card. And I can't grow my medical plants and my recreational plants in the same house. And the tax breaks aren't there anymore for a medical patient. And the commercial grows aren't renewing medical licenses. So it's like they don't even care about the medical patient anymore. We talked about this in a recent episode. It's to the point where it's literally been cannibalized for profit.
Same thing, Colorado. Having your card, you actually supposed to get better pricing, which you do. And it's supposed to be better quality weed. Well, I don't know about that because it's all grown in the same facilities. Like, oh, this is medical, oh, this is for the rec side, but yet it goes to the same dispensary that has two different doors. One's for medical, one's for recreational. So
dude, it's crazy.
I have a hard time believing it's all the same, like grown two different, one for medical and one for rec. It's all grown the same at that point.
Dude, I was in it. I was like, we would move stuff that wouldn't do as well from the medical shelf to recreational. It was a COA that we placed on there. There was no separate area in the grow. There was a tag because it was registered as medical, but it was the same exact genetics, 100% same exact genetics.
Then the other part is like you were talking about, with this recreational coming on in Colorado, nobody's trying to stay with medical dispensaries. They're moving to recreational. They think there's more money in it. And there is, because you don't have to have a license. You can just walk in with a ID and being over the age to consume. And so that old mindset of, teaching people to grow, they're going to grow and they're not going to buy from us. Oh, shit, excuse my language, but look at these dispensaries profiting like crazy. And they're going there left and right. They're not coming to the black market, traditional market, home grow, like that is trying to sell at a farmer's market. No, they're going to these dispensaries buying $50 ounces all day. They don't care about the quality at that point. It's just $50.
That's where the spore rush comes in now. This is where we've left the green rush and we've gone to a new medical frontier.
Mm-hmm.
This is the new side. And I see this heavily, dude. It's so crazy. Most of my friends who've quit, or acquaintances who've quit growing, have transitioned. And they're growing different things now. And I think this is where, when you look at the medicinal and recreational side, but primarily medicinal for psilocybin, this is where it's fixing the break that was there for the medical patients with herb. Is now they're like, okay, wait, I can microdose this, and this will help with the mental side of things that I've been dealing with for years, that I took medication that was ruining me, or there's repairing of my cells. Like, there's a study that came out that said there was a 52%, I think it was 52% increase in your cell life from using psilocybin, which is crazy. You know, it's like, it's medical now.
So, like a lot of people, when Colorado first came on, they're like, oh, we're going to grow all these mushrooms. And then you start sitting on pounds of mushrooms, because nobody consumes mushrooms like weed. Cannabis, where you smoke daily, mushrooms is not like that. Microdosing is not quite like that. But now people are like, oh, there's a medical benefit microdosing. Let's start making microdoses, trying to put them in different like edibles and different packaging. And I'm still concerned on some of that, because they're not dosing properly. They don't know the right milligram per gram that they're doing. Where I do my own capsules, each capsule has a specific amount of milligrams it goes in it. For like a number 3 capsule, say it's 0.1 to 0.3. That's about a actual true microdose, depending on the percentage of psilocybin in the cubensis, or whatever the mushroom is at that point. But taking these other edibles, like people, oh, it's a little too intense, it's a little too much. So that's where like people need to understand really what a dose is, from micro to macro to heroic. And there's a lot of information coming out about dosing. We've already looked at a company that we're starting called Spectrum Dosing. So people can start understanding the right spectrum you're looking for. And because there's high potency psilocybin out there, that some of the percentages of like a cubensis test at almost 3% psilocybin per gram, that's really potent. You can't do that as a microdose. So people have to be aware of what they're taking and the percentage of the mushroom. There's a lot of medical RNs, nurses, and physicians that are now coming on board with dosing their patients, that we're also trying to get them to understand this as well. Because if I'm taking a 0.1% of a 3% dose, well, that's going to be really high for somebody. And that may like have the adverse effect and cause, oh, this is too much. Like, I don't want to do this no more. Well, that's not what you're looking for. You're trying to help. You're trying to be therapeutic. So even physicians are starting to understand you have to know the percentage of mushroom, or the percentage of psilocybin per mushroom that you're using when you're treating people.
Let me ask you this. I'm completely ignorant when it comes to that. I don't have a lot of knowledge at all. So I've got just beginner questions that probably are don't make a lot of sense here. But does body weight have anything to do with it at all, right? So I'm 190 pounds. If I take 0.5, if a 300-pound man comes and he takes the same amount, is there going to be any difference? Is he going to feel less effects because he's got more body weight?
So I wouldn't say it's body weight. What I would say, it's the body compounds and how the alkalines, because they're all alkalines, almost like cannabinoids. They all affect people differently. So, for example, there's a gentleman that was in the community, Dirtman Dan, he could eat a strain called penis envy, and he said it never really affected him. He never felt intense visuals or anything like that. But if I or somebody else that I knew ate something like that, I'd be laying down, closing my eyes, seeing everything going on. So it's people's body chemistry is how things react to the alkaloids themselves, than it is more the body weight. Just like cannabis, you all three can smoke the same strain, but have a little different effect on how it's affecting.
And that's what I've realized over the years. I did not know there was different strains. I did not know there were separate versions. So I'd have a bad trip or a bad experience. And then I've learned, for me, golden teachers are my favorite. And I've learned also they're one of the lowers
Yes.
in psilocybin. And that's probably why I can eat more and have a really good head. Like I don't always need an ego death, so to speak. Sometimes I just want to have fun with the boys on a kayak out in a Canadian river, damn it. You know?
Well, that's where I talk about, like, on the spectrum dosings, like you're looking to do a macro of like a half to a full gram. That's the party favorite, enjoyable. I can still manage, but I'm getting a little bit of visuals. I'm happy. I'm smiling. We're having a really good time. I'm still able to function and be out in public. Well, if you get over a gram to like a gram and a half to 2 grams, it starts becoming way too intense to be out in public for some people. I can do that and go to a concert and just really enjoy the music and everybody around me, but that's not everybody.
Yeah, dude. And my life-changing experience was after I had 3.5, and then I said, you know what? They didn't kick in yet. We should eat the other half. And I was at a good solid 7, and it was to the point where I changed as a person, man. Like I used to be a lot more cynical and rude and bully-like, and didn't think about others and their feelings. And wow, I literally had a conversation with myself, man. I remember like laying on the side of my bed, not in my bed, on the ground, on the side of my bed, flat, because my spine felt weird. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? This is like generational trauma that I'm just pouring on other people. And I'm 16 at the time, allegedly. But it's like, there is that point of that you need that spiritual experience. And when you get further past that fun, haha side, some people don't realize that it's like the earth is giving you, in my mind, this is total bro science, but it's like, this is the piece that I needed. And if I'm having these internal issues, I'm going to have a different effect. If I'm already happy Jojoy and I've ironed it out, I'm okay.
Well, it's like death of ego is the best way to put it, because this ego that we build up over time, literally consuming for medicinal purposes, you kind of kill the ego off, taking larger doses. I have done several heroic doses where I'm consuming 130 to 160 milligrams of psilocybin. And I literally have to lay down, close my eyes, and let everything go. And listen, I'm not on this planet. I'm seeing entities. I'm seeing other beings. I'm seeing things that my mind has a hard time comprehending. And so coming back to reality, like it's hard for people sometimes because it's like you have to decompress everything you just went through. And during that time, it's like you release all this ego and trauma and stress at the same time of going through a lot of that's where people talk about life-changing experiences. And so the medical research on a lot of this with depression, with pain, with phantom pain, like say you have an arm missing from being in war, or limb, leg, something, and you still have that pain, physical pain. Well, these treatments of psilocybin are helping the pain disappear, and it's no longer there. And it's lasting for days to weeks to months at a time from just 1 to 2 treatments. And so same thing with like anxiety, social problems, can't be out in public. At the Dudes Grows event, we had a jar of microdoses so people can try them to actually see what a microdose was like. And we had so many people come back and just, oh my God, this is wonderful. This is helping me. I can be at this event with 400 plus people and be social and not have anxiety talking to people. And some of the people that we talked to that were having pain, dude, they said all day long they didn't have any pain. They felt like they were just gliding through, and like even smoking weed helps manage some of it, but they said not like this. they did not feel any pain throughout the whole day.
Well, and I think that's where your mind is so powerful. And I try to teach my kids this. I'm like, man, when I was younger, I got in a fight and I did not know my hand was just gouged, had no idea. It was like 15 minutes. And then once I realized it was, the amount of pain that set in was insane. It's like mind over matter is what people say. And it's crazy when you start to change the wiring. And I think by putting in a natural substance, so to speak, like that, can help you do that. And you see it with people from the military who have PTSD from alcoholism. It's like my biggest thing for my depression when my kid's mom and I split during COVID too. So I'm locked in the house. I microdosed every day. And I swear, dude, it changed me as a person. It made me, the guys can probably test for it. I was negative. I was crackhead skinny. I was unhappy. I was like, there was just different energy. I don't know. Looking back at old episodes, I was like, man, I just feel and look and everything so much better from trying to rewire my brain, knowing that I had some neurological issues, so to speak. And a lot of it's self-induced, but then not abusing this, using it as medicinal side. It changed my life.
And that's where this industry, go ahead, Pigeons.
No, please. No, go ahead.
That's where this industry is moving to the medicinal side of psilocybin and seeing that microdosing is huge. There's a lot of research with the neurogenesis, the neuroplasticity of rebuilding brain cells and reconnecting brain cells. Paul Stamets talks about this. As we get older, we lose the cognitive ability of tapping, and it slows down. So what you can do in tapping in a minute time, now 30 years later, you're going to be tapping less in that same 60 seconds. So what he talks about is a combination he found of lion's mane, psilocybin, microdose, and niacin, because niacin helps force it further into the cells, into the neuron area, and it increases just in a couple treatments. Our tapping ability starts to increase. And so seniors with Alzheimer's and dementia that are having problems like this, they're finding it starting to help deal with even like cannabis helps with the inflammation. So does psilocybin. It's helping with inflammation in these areas. And it's helping reconnect some of the damaged areas of our brain. So we're starting to become functional again. Kind of like how they talk about keep reading as you get older to keep your brain going. Well, microdosing is actually doing that without having to read. It's really interesting.
Like I'm just like, I'm just listening. I love it, dude. I love what you're bringing. What got you into this, man? What got you into this? Into the science and exploration of mushrooms?
So I say I'm a psychedelic baby because I enjoy psychedelics, and I have ever since I tried, that 3-letter LS word. And that really opened my mind. And so growing up, I had an aunt that was really hippie-ish, smoked a lot of pot, tried a lot of different drugs over the years. She had a hallucinogenic book from the 60s of every hallucinogenic plant that we know of, from morning glory seeds to like things you would have never thought were hallucinogenic. And I'm like, this is crazy. Well, that's the time I'm really experimenting in my life. And I'm like, wow, like there's a lot to this. It's opening my mind. I'm questioning more. I'm starting to want to know more answers. Like, is God real? And what's the universe? And like, you start to question things, and you go down rabbit holes searching for answers. And sitting in like a group of friends like this, that's when we're all doing it. We're all asking these questions and just having great conversations. So that's what started me like with the psychedelic and the down that pathway. Well, Colorado, like, you'd still eat them. Your friends would still find them and come along them, and you'd all have fun. And well, Colorado, about 2 years, almost 3 years now, decriminalized all plant-based medicines for medicinal use. So that means peyote, but they don't want you to destroy the peyote cactus, so it's San Pedro. And so with San Pedro, we have mescaline that comes out of it, which is now being looked into. We have ketamine that they're using for treatments. They're talking about ayahuasca and psilocybin, different types of mushrooms, because psilocybin comes from cubensis or like natulescens or pansians. There's different ones that produce, psilocybin. So all plant-based medicines is really what focused me on, hey, there's not a lot of people into it. I'm always about the medical side of things. Even when it came to cannabis, I'm a medical patient. I would prefer people knowing the research on the medical side of what it does. Same thing with mushrooms. I want people to know the research is out there for dementia, for menopause, for pain, for if you're trying to stop with alcoholism or opioid addiction, taking certain dosages helps with that. If you're dealing with trauma from past, like childhood trauma, there's so many benefits to treatment with using psilocybin.
I want to go back to microdose for a second, because I do have a question in regards to this. I feel like I'm not the only one who has this question, but like, what should you actually be doing when you're microdosing? I mean, should you just be going about your day normally? Should you be reading a book? Should you be doing a gratitude journal? Like, how do you do microdosing? How are you like most efficient to take advantage of a microdose?
So, and this is what I try to get people to understand. When you take an actual microdose, you should not really be feeling anything. You're just happy. You kind of, and I'm going to kind of be a little cursive, your fucks kind of go away. Like, you can go through your day, usually if it's a stressful day, like, I'm not worrying about nothing today. I'm just kind of focused in on doing what I need to do. And it's weird because you have this energy, you have this focus, you have this drive. You kind of don't like putting up with nonsense and BS anymore. So it's like, to me, I just tell people it's like a happy pill. If you take a Valium to deal with stuff through your day, you can take this and not have the side effects of the Valium and just mellow out. You don't have to. Some people on a microdose depends on like the blends, because I have one blend that several of us took at the Do Grows event because it's so energetic. It's like an Adderall. And I don't know how many people have taken Adderall or have it prescribed. Okay. So this was...
We've all been there, brother.
Right. So this is so energetic. It's like taking an Adderall for the day. But yet you don't have the methamphetamine part of the Adderall where it's all actual alkaline compounds. And it's go, go, go. And I'm so energetic. Like, dude, I don't drink. I don't eat. I don't want to smoke on it. I'm just going. And then there's the other ones that we did with a A+ blend. It was more mellow, but you can be social and functionable and managing things. And so it really depends on the mushroom that's being used and the alkaloids on how some of it's going to affect you.
Well, and it's like, that's for me, man. That was my biggest thing, is I was taking them and I'm battling depression. I'm like, there's nothing, the present right now, there's no reason to be having any of this issue. I always use the analogy, my brain is like a shitty radio that I want just one station, but I've got 14 of them playing and none of them are great. It's like, I just want one, man. And it really helps. Like, I still to this day, at least, maybe every other day, if not daily, start with a microdose. But I'm also changed where I'm taking functional mushrooms as well. So I don't drink regular coffee anymore. I'm drinking the old everyday dose. I've got these gummies, these nature drop gummies that are like lion's mane and a bunch of different mix of mushrooms. But dude, my energy level, my focus, my amount, like my aptitude to absorb information, everything, dude. Like, I battle mental health stuff constantly. It runs in my family, and I'm always that self-doubt and imposter syndrome shit, dude. I swear, when I have my mind optimized, I'm like cultishly believing in everything. Like I'll say stuff that Chris is like, well, okay, but in reality, let's talk real. Like, he does it all
Get you
the
back to
time
earth for a second.
He does it all the time. But it's like, dude, I'm telling you, brother, this is why I'm always like, dude, try the microdoses, man. Try the meditation, all these things that sound like hippy jippy stuff. But man, the science is starting to come out that's like, hey, it actually is real. And like, holy shit, like my grandma Rainbow was right.
Well, what we're finding is taking microdoses for a long period of time, it starts to bring out some of the issues. And some of the issues, we're talking like underlying anger, frustration, like you've been dealing with a lot of nonsense and bullshit at work and you're just tired of it and you become real snappy at people. And it's not like the mushrooms causing you to do that. No, that's an underlying issue that you've been trying to deal with mentally. Well, that's where we talk about now you need to look at doing something like in a heroic dose for a big reset. And people don't understand these resets, but when you talk to a lot of military vets that like, dude, microdoses don't do nothing for me. I need to eat 10 grams. Well, not necessarily 10 grams, but they'll talk about like eating it in a gram consumption, where we talk about milligrams per gram consumption because the percentage makes a difference. But doing a heroic dose, it really resets their mind and what's going on mentally with them that the microdose wasn't touching. And so taking microdoses daily, well, sometimes I start to get irritated. I start to get where I don't want to put up with nonsense anymore because I'm seeing the truth and through the bullshit, and I'm just tired of it. And I'm openly speaking my mind at that point and not shutting my mouth anymore. Well, that's not necessarily a good thing sometimes. So we look at doing a couple days on, a week on, and then taking a little time off so your mind can actually repair and kind of decompress through some of what's going on. When you bring some of that trauma back up, you have to learn how to deal with it again, remanage it. So you have to allow time for that to process. If you're going to do microdosing, that would be some of the suggestions, even some of these medical physicians are talking about, not doing it necessarily every day, taking some time off, doing a week on, maybe a week off, doing 3 days on, maybe 2 days off type deal, but giving your body some time to kind of process through everything.
That was where I changed, and I was doing it every day. You know, like that's when my kid's mom and I split and was with the boys, I was every single day. And then I had a buddy he's a heavy tripper, and he was like, dude, you can't have a crutch. He's like, your brain will take what it takes. And after that, it's like you're having toxicity. And then it's either you're not going to feel it. It's not going to do what you need because you're getting used to that effect, or you're going to get the opposite effect. And that makes a lot of sense what you said. He gave me the feel the wind type of vibes. He didn't tell me that what exactly was going on. It was only after learning, I'm like, all right, I can't do this every day, because I swear it's like a PED, man. Like I'm able to get so much more work done. Just like you're saying, like an Adderall, I'm focused, I'm cerebral. I'm not having 14 radio stations. I've got maybe 3 now, and they're on each screen so I can get each thing done, you know? And I'm like, that for me is why I need that. Cause I clearly do battle some mental health stuff. So I need that little bit of a crutch. But to then use that every single day, I think, that's a valid observation.
So here's some of the things that we're trying to get to look at. If you're doing microdosing of psilocybin, add lion's mane, add something else to it so it's just not the psilocybin. Like I can make my own cocktail of mushroom complexes. I use a lot of Home Defense, Paul Stamos's lines. Like he has a 17 species complex. There's a 13 species. There's individual species that you can buy. Well, I can mix that all in with my psilocybin and put it in my microdoses. So it's just not all psilocybin. I'm actually adding 17 other species of health benefit mushrooms to my microdose. And then at that point, I can even add niacin into the compound of my microdosing. So I'm helping get it further into my system by opening the vascular system through the dilation of it.
See, and that's where I think the future is becoming. This is where it's people seeing recreational for mushrooms maybe isn't the big money like it is for our plant. The medical wasn't big money for our plant. So what is this, because it's like, man, you can grow so much of it, but you can't liquidate so much of it. The microdose is what the masses of people want. I never thought about mixing things. And I noticed, if you go to like, smoke shops, like legal smoke shops, they've got these legal mushroom gummies everywhere. Like what is that? Is that essentially then just mixes?
Well, it is, but a lot of it's not lawful. They're still doing it where it's not in the legal terms yet. There might be gray areas, but we're still questioning how the potency is holding up, because when you heat up psilocybin, it becomes psilocin. That's what happens in your body anyhow when you consume psilocybin. It breaks down the psilocin. So are you actually consuming more psilocin at that point through some of these edibles that are heated up through these gummies or these hot chocolate molds that when they're making it? So that's where we got to figure out how to test those products to see what you're really consuming. Because it can say I'm using these mushrooms or these psilocybin mushrooms, but okay, you're heating it up, you're decarboxylating, and we all know that term. You're changing the compounds. So what am I really consuming?
Yeah, that's scary. That's that buyer beware thing. That's like when, again, the argument of growing it yourself.
Well, there was some issues recently with those edible products you're talking about that, they had to pull them off the shelves because people were having problems and getting sick and having like bad trips from it, and people weren't sure what was quite happening. And so, yeah, that's where you need to really do testing on your product to know what's in it, what it changed to.
Could you imagine a world where mankind had access to this this plant, this fungus? It's fungus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it would change the world. This is
since the beginning. Stuff, you ever seen the movie Lucy? I think it's called Lucy, where like she taps into like that 10% of her brain, like the extra percent. They say, I think this is a myth, but they say humans don't use the full potential of their brains. Right. And it's like, maybe that's because for the last 100 years, we have neglected, C2 receptors for cannabinoids. We've denied the CBH2. I don't know the receptors, but I'm going to pretend like I do. Chris will fill me in a second.
CBD1, CBD2.
Right. Your receptors. Yep. So could you imagine if we had given ourselves 100 years of this? Because like, I think humans have advanced so much in the last 100 years versus the, 100 before, that it's like, wow. I couldn't imagine where we'd be today if we had had a mass population with responsible access to this fungus.
We did, though.
Essentially, like the ancients.
We did. You're right. No, we did.
But then we Sumerians, and
but only once. But like only once in time did we just give ourselves a hard stop where we could no longer.
Well, I think it goes back to religion, and religion starting to create laws of saying, this is bad, it's of the devil, we shouldn't do this, when actually there were benefits of like Western medicine and natural herbs that Native Indians and other like, uriatic type medicine, they're using these plant-based medicines. They have been for centuries. And yet when we get into our civilization, it's bad for you, it's going to corrupt your brain, and we can't control you once you do this because you're going to think freely. Well, that's where control come in. They were stopping people from really becoming more intelligent, a race of being. I mean, that's where they talk about the monkey eating the mushroom, and he became more intelligent eating mushroom. Paul Stamets says,
what a coincidence,
right? Paul Stamets says it should be like one of our vitamins, a daily consumption of fungus, one sense or another.
Literally, I've got ashwagandha, and like I have these daily capsules essentially that I take, and it looks like I'm just a pillhead, but I'm like, no, I just don't. Got all these things, and I'm eating mushroom or drinking mushroom coffee, and like, dude, the difference of, again, my energy, even my physique, my level of, I'll do jujitsu, so open mat, I'll have, mushroom coffee before and after, and like the swelling of my knees, I've got a torn meniscus and a partially torn MCL. It's like I can cool down better. It's like the CBD argument that people would always say, take CBDs for this. Man, the fungus is seemingly very useful too in that aspect. I think that it's a big reason. It's almost like the idea that, we were not supposed to be able to connect and be godlike people. I'm big into that old, like, ancient civilization stuff. And it's like they wanted to separate us. So they put religion and they put languages. One of the keys is potentially, fungus. And they're making sure that we don't have access to that as much, because we're going to question things like you did when you were younger. Is God real? What's the meaning of life? Like, they don't want those things. They thought, just THC and cannabinoids were bad. Well, man, this is going to get people really questioning everything. And then the control disappears. And I think that's probably, in my opinion, why there's more regulation, less regulation. There's more illegal and persecution against this. I mean, in Michigan, for the longest time, other than Detroit and Ann Arbor, it's a felony for medicine. It's a felony, which is crazy to me, to think that a natural growing element that can help you and change your life is a felony.
Control, man.
Yeah.
Control, man. And you know what? We need more people like yourself that are educating, because that's the big part too, is that those in control have the ability to silence those that want to educate and perpetuate the mission of the fungus, and it's an atrocity, really, when you think about it. When you think of all the healing that could be done, both physically and mentally, particularly for those that have served our country in war. It's a real shame. It's a real shame that we let these people go to the wayside when there is a very valid solution, or at least treatment, right here that's been used for a very long time. It's very sad.
Think about them being forced to take pharmaceuticals that have all these side effects that are causing other problems that now they got to take more pharmaceuticals for, and they don't want to do this. And they're telling their doctors, I don't want to do this no more. I want to find something else. The other thing I find is mushroom, psilocybin especially, has more research coming out than fucking cannabis. And this is so sad to me, because we have fought for over a decade now for cannabis to become medical and recreational, that we still can't get it to be reclassified to get any research done on it. But yet mushrooms, we're finding all this research coming out. And wait a minute here. This has only been coming out in the last couple of years that mushrooms have been legal. How is this happening?
It's another thing that I think that's easier to control. There's less people who think they can grow these at home. And if you don't have access to the spores, if you can't get these strains, and if there's certain ones that are proprietary, because they can make proprietary blends too. That's the tougher part about patenting this versus, with herb. It's a little tougher because you have the genealogy, the phenotypes, the variances. But then when you get into psilocybin, there's more areas that I think that they can unlock of locking it. They can unlock the lock, essentially. And that's what I'm really concerned about, is as we do get more information, it gets taken away from the people more. And they're going to feed us a new blend that's synthesized.
Well, that's what they did first. Hey, it's medical. Well, you have dispensaries, so you can't grow your own. And then Las Vegas, Nevada, well, we're going to change that. If you have a strain that the dispensaries don't have, you can start growing your own. So everybody started breeding all this different stuff so we could grow our own. And it was like, we'll just figure out every way around whatever regulation you're trying to instill on us to make things happen. Like, we've done that. I mean, that's what the whole black market we've done for decades before this.
That's the stupidest law ever. I thought it was just the distance of the dispensary. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. We're like, well, we don't have that strain.
But that was in 2014, and it's come so much further since then with things that. But that's the ignorance of it. It's like, you can grow 12 plants, but you can only possess 1 ounce of flower. Well, where the frig is the rest of it supposed to go? And it just magically appears too? Like, come on, man. Oh, I can have 6 plants. No, I can have 6 plants, but if I get them to be 10-foot trees, I'm still within my legal right? But now you're saying I have too much cannabis because I have pounds of it. Well, make up your mind. Which one is it?
There's no sense to it. There's no sense. You can't justify it. It's literally it's like parents still trying to justify why weed is bad to their kids. You know, it's like there's no real justification other than it's the devil's lettuce, right? It's just name calling at this point. I got to be honest with you, man. This has been very, very insightful for me, and I think honestly, this has just been the scratch of the surface, man. I think I speak for the three of all of us when I say, like, we need to do this again. And we need
let's
to
do
get
this in person.
Yeah, do it in person.
Yeah, dude. Because if you're in Chris's hood,
I got to come out to Las Vegas anyhow some point to see my son again. So
yeah, dude, super insightful episode. I'm telling you, dude, Chris, I've been crazy, brother.
And if anyone wanted to get a hold of you, my friend, where would they do so?
So the best place right now is Instagram and X Twitter. Those are the two really social sites I'm on. Don't post a lot on Instagram anymore. Once in a while, I'll post some educational stuff. But I've had so many problems with one specific person, and the whole community's had a problem with this one person that I just don't post a lot there no more because it's going to get flagged, removed, taken down, fight for days just to get it back. And that's a sad thing. Like my YouTube, I had videos of my two sons, my oldest and my youngest, hanging out, playing together. One lives in Iowa, one lives in Nevada. So I don't get to see that. It's all gone because losing that channel. So that's why I try not to post stuff to platforms anymore, because I'm afraid of losing anything.
That's fair, dude. There's
rough.
weasels everywhere. But what I would recommend is that you be resilient and do it anyway. I remember we had this conversation that Dude Grows, like, you deserve it. Your community deserves it. Your information is valid, and you know the world needs to hear from it. And you need to use these platforms as your mountain to yell from. And I can't wait until either that happens or you come back for another conversation, my brother, because this has been enlightening.
In person next time.
And there's a lot of information out there that needs to be shared. And even us maybe getting together and consuming and having a podcast, you know, like Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, you know, kind of did. And hey, things like that happens. And people
I might cry on there.
I will certainly cry.
I just randomly, I'm on there just crying. They're like, what this episode?
I feel so good about myself.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. Until next time, man, I can't wait to dive in deep, man. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. And for those folks, you mentioned at the top of the episode, you were on the Garden Talk a couple times, man. So if you're looking to dip into his soil science knowledge, definitely check out those two episodes. He talks over a bunch of different amendments and just the benefits, how to use them, so on and so forth. So I recommend that. It was a great, great conversation.
Soil salt free.
You know, organic amendments. And the best thing now is AI to help tune in those soil recipes that I've been doing now. And I'm loving it. Loving AI to help with that, because I noticed before there's a little bit too much nitrogen sometimes. And I was like, no, what do I got to change? And AI really helped me figure it out.
Oh yeah, man. Grow tools.
Yes. Grow tools.
Well, yeah, brother. Appreciate you being on, man. We will definitely link soon for From the Stash. XRP, baby.
XRP!
We're going to have to talk about that next time. That being said, it's your boy Rob, Pigeons 420, Mr. Grow It, Medically Fit. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Are you a grower? Are you tired of lugging around too many bottles? Is it too expensive? Is it so confusing? Tired of reading feed charts? Well, guess what? There is an easier way. Introducing the Stash Blend. You can now get your bag of Stash Blend premium additives that you can add to your garden using just about any base nutrients. Go to stashblend.com and get your order today.
If you're just getting started growing cannabis, check out 7 Steps to Grow Cannabis. It's a beginner-friendly book for growing indoors that covers growing in soil and in cocoa. For those interested in organic methods, My second book, Organic Cannabis Cultivation, covers beginner to intermediate techniques. You can produce high-quality organic cannabis using sustainable practices. Both books are available on Amazon, but you can get a discount by using code THESTASH on my website, mrgrowit.com.